Hello again guys as well. Today I'm going to show you how to make things follow your rider or even other objects. It's quite a simple thing to do as well, so I'm just going to show you. So get yourself an interval trigger, object position event, and a vector object info. That's the only three you need at the moment. So select your interval trigger, as in the last couple of videos. Always set to 1 tick for these, and then connect it to your object position. And then your object position, turn off local, and again Y, X, Y and Z, connect these to your position, as so. And now you've got all three going into your position event. And now let's say we want some lights on our tyres. So we're doing a front wheel, back wheel track, and we want to put a red light on the back and a blue light on the front. So grab yourself a light. Usually I'll show you the settings to what I usually set these at. If I do it, is I'll set to red. I'll put the intensity up a bit so we can see it nice and clearly. And your light range I'll put to like 0.4. Like, you can't really notice it at the minute, but when it actually comes to your back tyre like this, you can see the red ring going around onto the tyre. But we can adjust the settings to that in a minute if it's not to what we suit. So all we need to do, select your object position event, select event target, and that's going to be the light. And then what you want to do is select on your position, and the position's going to be where that object is going to be going. So that's obviously going to be going to the back tyre. So we just select the back wheel like that, and then when we hit the test button, this light will go straight to that back tyre, just like that, you see. And now that will follow the rider throughout the whole track. And like I said, if it's not to what you're suited and you want it brighter or whatever, you can turn it up a bit, it's not going to hurt. And now you can see it now. Oh, nearly exited, don't want to be doing that. And now you see we got a red on a back wheel. The exhaust, the smoke of the exhaust does go onto the light. I don't really think there's a way of getting rid of that. But the same thing for your front tyre. You just copy all three of these tiles, put them down, copy yourself another light, and then just change it to blue or whatever colour you want to change it to. I'm going to go with blue. And then come on to your object position event again, select event target, and make sure you press square to deactivate the line that's going to this bulb. So press square and that line will disappear, and then just reconnect that one to this one. And again the same thing for your position. Go on to select object, and because we copied it, obviously it's still connected to our back tyre, so just press square and that will deselect the line. And now reselect your line and just press X on your front tyre, and then you hit the test, and you see my red one's going to the back and my blue one's going to the front. And that will follow me through the whole track now. And that's how you make something follow. And again, you can do that with anything. If you wanted, say you had a river through your whole track. Let's just do an example. We'll leave this on for now. I'll just do a quick example. Instead of making another video, I'll just slap it into this video, because it's pretty much the same thing, isn't it? So I'm just going to grab myself some ramps and stuff at the moment quickly. I'll use these ones. So snap back to my driving line, and we're just going to build some little bridges at the moment, just for an example. And come into here, we're going to get ourselves some liquids, we'll get ourselves some slime, then we're going to snap back to the driving line, just like that. So what the aim is here, instead of having a hit trigger and just putting a splash effect here, and again here, and again here, we're just going to trigger it by 1. So we're going to have the effect follow our rider throughout the track. So if we are to hit this trigger at any time, obviously that splash will activate that's following our rider, so you don't need more than 1. You can just use 1 throughout the whole track. So here's the example. So get yourself, say, an area trigger. I'm going to put it like that, stretch it right out, because we're going to use it as 1. And I'm just going to place that close to the water, like this. And now what we want to do is find ourselves a nice effect. Still go the one-time water splash. You don't want it too big, so you don't see nothing. You can mess with the intensity in the foam. We're going to put it green so it's a bit more slimy. And then we're going to turn off looped, turn off enabled. And now that's our effect ready there, set up. So what we're going to do now is just copy this formula that we're using to make things follow. And again, select on your object position event, deselect the line, click on square and connect that effect. And again, with the position, click on it, select the object, press square. We want it to follow the rider now, so we'll just click somewhere on our rider. That's his head. Let's get a bit lower. This is on his body now. So we test, and you see that effect now? He's just going to follow our rider the whole time. So as I show you, like this, you can see that one-time splash is going to follow us. So then all we obviously want to do then is effects event. Just went straight past it. So here's your effect event. Select on your area trigger you got in the water. So when your rider hits it, it triggers the effect, and the effect obviously goes to the event target, which will be the actual effect. So it will trigger the effect when you activate the area trigger. So now when we go into the water, that gives us a splash. Obviously we want him to die as well, so the easiest way to do that, instead of putting it with loads of invisible fail areas, just go into your events, get yourself a player event, and then just click on your effect event, go to event filter and continue the line on. So now we're going to hit that trigger, the trigger's going to send the effect's going to go off, and straight after that, that's just going to kill our rider straight away. So every time we hit the water now, crash, we're dead. So instead of having like 20-30 effects, you can just use the one and use it throughout the whole track, and just trigger it when you want it to trigger. And obviously if you want it to make it look a little bit better, you can just get yourself simply a custom camera. Make sure you turn it off, turn it on cut, and then just move the camera into position. Say we want it roughly here, show off a little bit of our deco that we would decorate, and just go into your events again, camera event. So obviously that will trigger select camera, that will be your camera obviously, and then again you just continue this red line that's going. So now we're going to click on this one, go to the select event filter and connect the red line onto that one. So now the effect's going to go off, it's going to kill us, and the camera's going to go on. Normally you would want to set the camera first, so you put the camera here and then trigger the line through, but this is basically the same setup. It's going to trigger it straight away anyway, so as you see. And then you get your nice little camera view as well as your splash. obviously you would have to set a different camera to a different position if we was to hit down there. Or you could even just, again, we could be smart and we could use this formula and make that follow our rider, so we could only use one camera throughout the whole track. So instead of having depth cameras absolutely everywhere on your track, you could literally just try and get this one into a good position of your rider, and so it doesn't like show any of your like bad track on this side. So get it in a good line throughout the whole track. You probably have to mess with it and get it all lined up, but we'll roughly put it in this area. So you just go to your physics, get yourself object glue tool, press the settings, go to select glue member, and we're going to connect that to our camera just like that. And now just press circle, go to select pivot, and you see this is the pivot that's going to be attached to our camera. And again, we're going to use this formula, exactly the same one, just going to copy again, and we're going to put it over here again. Select event target, press square, deselect the line because it's on your effect still, and select your camera. And again, position, select object, and that's okay, it's going on our rider where the effect's going, so we'll just leave that connected there. And then we're going to test, and you see the camera's going in to the rider. So all we need to do now is we got our camera into the position we want, so roughly about this area. So all we need to do now is just select the pivot and then move that to roughly where that green line's going into the rider. So you see the green line's like, it's probably roughly about there. And then we'll just put that there, and then we'll test, and you see now the camera's going to follow our rider. So it doesn't matter if we crash here, the camera's going to get us. It doesn't matter if we crash here, the camera will get us, or here. So I'll just show you a little example. It's just we're going underneath. So just hold, was it L1 if you want to just hold, because obviously if I press X on it, I'm going to move the whole camera and the glue group. So what you want to do is just press L1 and just grab the camera itself like this. So our pivot's going to stay in the same spot. Just go into the settings, move your camera, and because it's obviously going under our track, we can just lift it up a little bit, something like this. And obviously if you want, you can just put something underneath. So I'm just going to put this invisible and put it on contact response. So instead of us falling all the way to the floor, we're just going to fall on this plane underneath, and then it will basically look like we're just floating in the water or something. You can lift it up or down. And the one underneath, obviously you can lift that up, have it a bit closer. And again, we'll test. Now the camera won't go right down. See? And again, jump over, set the camera off, and to the last one. And that's how you set up your custom camera, following the rider throughout the whole track as well. And obviously if you want it to just stop and you don't want it to like follow your rider as he dies, you can just turn this one off when your rider dies, and then the camera will just stay still because it won't be following him anymore. So you can just turn that formula off to stop the camera. And that's it. That's how to use these 3 tiles with so many different, like there's many more things to show you, but I'll leave a video here for now, and if you want to know a bit more about it, I'll let you know some more. Thanks for watching, hope it helps.